Thank you for joining us on a Thursday afternoon on our first day of NCCCA. I'd like to introduce for you Mike Duffy. He's a philanthropist and an author of 5 books on happiness, resilience, and success, including The Happiness Book, A Positive Guide to Happiness, The Happiness Book for Men, and The Happiness Book for Kids, Volume 1 and 2. He has a homeless outreach. He has built a children's medical center in Kenya and is currently building a children's hospital playroom in Uganda. As a top-rated inspirational and motivational public speaker, his worldwide audiences include corporations, government organizations, nonprofits, and universities, including Stanford University, where he has guest lectured over the years. Mike started the Happiness Hall of Fame to recognize, encourage, and celebrate people and organizations that make other people happy. Some of the many distinguished members of the Happiness Hall of Fame include Muhammad Ali, Dolly Parton, Steph Curry, Serena Williams, the Golden State Warriors, the San Francisco Giants, the Wounded Warrior Project, Mother Teresa's Missionaries of Charity, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Please join me in welcoming Mike Duffy.
Well, it is such a pleasure to be here in front of so many wonderful people. Thank you so very much for having me. You know, if you're having a hard time in your life right now, I'm going to teach you how to get out of it. If you're stuck, I'm going to show you how to go forward. But first, by a show of hands, how many people love dogs? Okay? Now, how many people love cats? Great. Now, I have to warn you, I have a lot of slides with dogs on them, but I do have one slide with a cat, because I got to represent my cat people, right? So let's get started. But a lot of people don't know that Dolly Parton has given away over 500 million books to underserved children all around the world. Now, why did she do that? Well, you see, Dolly was one of 12. Her father was a sharecropper. He was illiterate. He never had the opportunity to learn how to read and write. And she promised herself, if I ever make any money, I'm going to help children like my dad who never had that opportunity so that they don't have those hurdles that my best daddy had. So one of my favorite quotes about happiness is Helen Keller. And she said that true happiness is not attained through self-gratification, but through fidelity to a worthy purpose. Now, we think Helen Keller said that because Abraham Lincoln said the problem with quotes on the internet is that it's very hard to verify their authenticity. However, it sounds very Helen Kellerish, doesn't it? Now, the Dalai Lama said, our primary purpose in life is to help people. And if you can't help people, at least don't hurt them. Grand international chess master Robert Burns said, the purpose of life is a life of purpose. 14 years ago, I am at the top of my career. I'm making more money than I could have ever dreamed. I have the title that I strived for, but I wasn't happy. So I took out a yellow pad and I came up with my happiness formula. It's purpose plus progress equals happiness. And I took out a yellow pad and on the left side at the top, I wrote down purposes of my life. And we all have multiple purposes of our lives. So the first thing I wrote down is to be a great husband to my wife, Shannon. So for progress step, I wrote every Saturday night is date night. And like magic, at 5:30 every Saturday night, without my wife having to do anything, a babysitter that would show up that I organized. If one of them dropped out, I'd have another one in my back pocket. And I turned to my wife and I would say, honey, where is it that you want to go tonight? What is it that you want to do? Where would you like to eat? You see, I am the son of 2 Irish immigrants, both of whom had a 6th grade education. That was the best that they could get. Now, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, but I grew up with a lot of love. Now, when my father came to New York City in 1959, he made himself a promise. He said, you know what? Ireland could only take me so far in my education, but I'm going to read a book a week, and I'm going to get up to speed with everybody else. I'm going to pass everybody else. And he did. But he didn't read trivial books. He read books on the great Greek playwrights like Euripides. You know, every Sunday he would give us a book report even though we wanted to watch Disney. And I remember him saying, he said, you know what, Mike? He goes, the great playwright Euripides, 2,500 years ago, said that one good friend is better than 2,500 relatives. To which I said, aren't I your relative? And then later on he said to me, you know, Dr. Wayne Dyer said that friends are God's apology for your family. I was like, aren't I a part of this equation? But anyway, on the morning of my wedding, my father sat me down and he said, Mike, I want to teach you the secret to a happy marriage. And some of that money he put into a foundation to help people all around the world. So stay true to your purpose and it'll pay off. Do you guys know who this is? So about a month ago, I inducted Wayne Gretzky into the Happiness Hall of Fame. What a man. What a great guy. And I asked him, as I've asked hundreds of other top leaders and sports heroes, how can the average person increase their happiness? And he said, just enjoy your life. Now, it's a very simple thing to say, but it's a very profound thing in practice. My disappointment formula is unrealistic expectations minus reality equals disappointment. That's why when you go to Disneyland, there are children crying, even at the happiest place on earth, because they thought that they were going to get one thing, but they got another. In life, we're not always going to get what we want, right? Sometimes the goal that we set, we just don't get there. Maybe that's for a purpose. Maybe you have a different trajectory. But as you go through these challenges, remember, we only have one beautiful and precious short life. Just enjoy your life. So a lot of people are stuck in their lives, and they're stuck because of the past. You know, if you look at your car, imagine sitting in the front of your car and your rear view mirror. Your rear view mirror is tiny compared to your windscreen because you're supposed to be looking forward all the time, not looking in the past. But that's the biggest part that people get stuck on. Well, I wanted to be this, but it didn't happen. So I came up with past replacement therapy. There's nothing you can do to change the past, but you can change the future. Let me give you an example. In my town, there is a giant of a man. He's 6'8", over 300 pounds. He's a wonderful guy. In fact, he's the happiest guy you'd ever meet. But that wasn't always the case. In college, he was a great offensive lineman. And he thought that the NFL would come and he would live his dream. But it never happened. So I want to thank you for having me here. I'm about to wrap up. That's my children's playroom in Kenya. And that's Christmas in August. Because of great organizations like yours, I get to donate my fees to keep them going. I just bought an incubator. Before that, they hadn't had an incubator and children were dying. And I just built another one in Uganda. So thank you for doing that. But as I wrap up right now, I want you to imagine your perfect life. Who are you in relationships with? What passions are being fulfilled? Tell me, what is your dream? Because you are the author of the story of the rest of your life. Make that story one of amazing adventure, generous giving and noble purpose, wonderful joy and pure happiness. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.